So have you ever bought in a console like this old Pong console here and tried to hook it up to a modern day TV and kind of plug this into the video port or your composite and it didn't work? And then you kind of dug around and you found one of these switch boxes in there and well, how in the heck would you hook this up to your modern TV? Well, stay tuned guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you a good way to hook this up to a modern TV and also how, if you really wanted to get retro, how to use one of these switch boxes to connect to an old school retro TV. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so inside of one of these video game consoles is what's called an RF modulator. And basically what it does is it's like a small broadcast studio. So what it does is it takes, in this game system, it would be the composite video out of the chip and then basically turn that into a broadcast frequency into either channel 3 or channel 4, I believe, on this one. Pretty sure it's 3 or 4. But anyway, and then it travels through this wire out to the end of this RCA cable. Okay, now opposed to modern day, or I can't really say modern, but more modern standards is your composite cables here. So what this is your video and your two audios, left and right audio here. And it plugs into video and left and right audio. And basically the other end here plugs into your game console. I think this is a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3 one. But everybody kind of knows about that nowadays. But what this thing does is the TV signal, broadcast channel 3 signal, comes up this wire. And this is like coaxial cable, like what you hook, or what you used to hook your cable boxes up with. Well, it would come in from the cable company still in a coax cable. It goes to the to your cable modem if you got one of those. Same thing, coax cable. So there's frequencies going through this, and not a digital signal like it is with the composite cable. So this would actually plug into this here, okay? And here's the switch. I don't know if you guys can see that, but one side says game and one side says TV. So this would be playing the game going to the TV like that. And if you switched it over, it would take the antenna and then going up to the TV to give you broadcast signal, or on this one, cable. Now this hooks on to the back of an old retro TV. Now in the back of TVs, they had standalone antennas that have wires coming out. And there's two wires that would plug in, or actually screw into the back of the TV. And you would unscrew those and then plug this into, or put those onto the screws and then screw these in. And then on the back of this is where your antenna would actually connect. And that's how you get your TV signal. Or if you were lucky enough back then to have cable TV with like the 33 channels, I think we had like 31 or 33 channels when we first got cable, where you would plug your cable into here and the same thing. Then you would switch between TV and game. Same thing. So that's how you hook this up to an old school retro TV, guys. TVs up until probably like the mid 80s had the little screws in the back for the antennas. And then cable TV came into the norm, and so they started putting those jacks onto the back of TVs. So then you get a more modern take on the switch box. This is an old Radio Shack one I probably bought in like the mid 2000s or so. But this one actually has, instead of just the two little connectors for the back of the TV with the screws, actually has the coax that you can screw into the back of your TV. And then you can switch between game and TV. So, and then you can plug your cable into there, or your antenna into here, and obviously your game system in here. So that's how that one works. But there's a much more modern take on doing this. and that's one of these RF to RCA adapters. And basically this would plug into the back of your TV, where you like plug your cable from your cable company into, okay, and then this plugs into the cable coming out of the back of your video game console, and that's it. Then you tune it to whatever channel you got your console tuned to, so it's either like 2, 3, or 4 depending on the console, and you should have a pretty clear signal. Now the other thing about these boxes, guys, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. These boxes are notoriously leaky, and you'll get a really bad signal out of them. So I would definitely suggest using one of these opposed to one of these, because it will help. And this Pong system here has a cable that comes out of it directly from the motherboard. Now I could pull it out and replace it, but you always want to get, like, say if like the 7800 or the Atari Jaguar, the Master System, most of them more modern retro systems, I think the Nintendo does too, has an RCA jack coming out the back, and you can plug one of these shielded RCA cables into, and it makes a world of difference with your signal as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to hook up this Pong console here up to that TV. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and take this RCA cable coming out the back of that console behind us, long cable, and hook it up to this. So just kind of, and there it is, it's done, right? So in the back here I have one of these little nifty switch boxes here. So I'm actually going to plug this in to the back of the switch box here. Let me go ahead and pause this real quick, and I'll go ahead and get this plugged in. So I went ahead and plugged that in. Now this would be like the back of your TV, that jack that you have in the back of your TV that plugs into the coax. Just screw that on and you're good to go. Now me, I've got it switched over to this port, and this goes up to the TV. Got the old Pong console here hooked up. Now this is actually Super Pong because this one had batteries in it. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. And there it is. The signal's a little weak because these batteries are starting to get pretty weak. But as you guys can see, it does work. We got a pretty good signal. Not too bad. But you guys got to remember, I'm using the cable that's actually as old as me, literally, coming out the back of this thing. So if I were to replace that cable, I can almost guarantee you that the signal would be 10,000 times better, because with my shielded cable going to like the ColecoVision, or to like the Jaguar, or to the 7800 or the 5200, well actually the 5200 has its own wire and it sucks. But those other systems look really clear. So hopefully that kind of taught you guys that didn't know how to hook up these old school video game consoles to a modern TV and to an old school TV. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have a great one. Peace out. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to switch